Hello, the name is Skyride Space. There has been a lot of discussion in community about our upcoming Starship Flight 14, which is coaching the Super Heavy booster and then coaching the Starship itself. There's no official confirmation from SpaceX yet. Instead, I want to show you how you can recreate the concept yourself in Spaceflight Simulator. This is where the quick step become very important. We start Starship stack on this Mechazilla. The first mission is gravity turn, nothing completed yet. The goal is to build enough velocity and attitude for the upper stage to continue towards its flight trajectory while keeping the booster on return path toward the launch site. Remember, every correction costs either velocity or fuel, and both of those are going to be very important during the recovery phase later. We are setting up two completely different missions at the same time. The Starship needs to be continue to its forward trajectory while the Super Heavy, however, need to come back. And that means the booster has to positionally correctly before we even think about the landing. After stage expiration, two vehicles now have completely different objective. The Starship continued the trajectory while the Super Heavy beginning for RTLS or boost back burn. At this point, the manual control become really important. The booster need to reverse its direction and establish a trajectory that bring it back toward the launch site. Once the booster is heading back toward the launch site, you can begin preparing for the landing sequence. This is also a good time to make another quick step, because from this point onward, small mistake can become very expensive. Now the booster is coming back toward the launch site. The most important part of this maneuver is to controlling the descent without wasting too much fuel. This is where manual flying become more difficult, as there is no flight computer calculating the perfect burn for you. Instead, you are the flight computer itself. You have to judge the trajectory, decide when to rotate the vehicle, and determine when to apply the final braking burn. And if the vehicle start moving away from the target, don't wait until the last second to correct it. Instead, make a small correction earlier. Once you align with the catch arm, the final objective is simply to bring the booster into the capture position. And now, with the booster recovered, we can move on the second half of the mission. Now comes the more difficult part. The Starship is still completing its own trajectory while the booster is already back at the launch site. For the ship, we need to create a return trajectory that brings it back toward the launch site. At this point, trajectory planning becomes extremely important. You don't simply want the ship to return to the planet. It needs to return to a very specific location, which is the launch site. So during the orbit burn, keep watching its trajectory and make the necessary correction before the vehicle gets too close to the atmosphere. This is much easier than trying to fix the trajectory during the final descent. Now the ship begins its return. This is one of the most beautiful part of the entire mission, but it's also one of the most dangerous. The vehicle has to enter the atmosphere with the correct attitude and enough control authority to maintain the desired trajectory. Too little drag can send the ship away from the launch site, while too much drag will send the ship away before the launch site. And again, this is where the quick step can be saved the mission. In SFS, a single mistake doesn't mean the entire mission needs to be restored. Just return to the last quick save, readjust the last wrong maneuver, and try again. That's make it possible to practice this difficult recovery sequence without trying to launch the vehicle from the beginning. So just use a quick save before a major burn, save before difficult attitude changes, and save before the final approach. Now, as the ship approaches the launch site, the margin for error becomes much smaller. At this point, we are no longer trying to save a long-distance trajectory. We're trying to hit a very specific target, which is the launch site. The ship needs to descend close enough to the catch tower while controlling the altitude and vertical velocity. This is probably the most difficult part of the entire mission. You are manually controlling the vehicle while at the same time trying to predict the altitude, horizontal position, and velocity. There's no automatic system to correct the approach for you, so take your time. But one reminder, small corrections are better than the larger one. And now the final stage, the ship is descending directly toward the Megazilla. At this point, the objective is no longer simply to survive the landing. We need the vehicle to reach the correct position for the catch. This is what makes the dual recovery stages is so interesting. The booster has already been recovered at the launch site. Now, the ship is attempting to return the same location and be captured by the Megazilla as well. And there we go. The ship is back at the Megazilla. That gives us a successful recovery of both stages. Now, I want to emphasize something that is extremely important for anyone trying this in SFS. The recovery attempts you just watched doesn't mean every attempt will work perfectly. In SFS, no complete automated launch and recovery system that perform this maneuver for you. The flyer has to control the vehicle manually. That means even a small mistake during ascent can change the booster trajectory. A slightly incorrect pushback can move the booster outside the launch site. A bad re-entry angle can completely change the ship's final trajectory, and small correction at the wrong moment can make you miss the Megazilla by hundreds of meters. SpaceX has not yet officially confirmed that the Flight 14 will catch the booster and the ship right now, but this idea based on the current community discussion and the possibility of such recovery profile. But whether SpaceX actually do it or not, just the concept is a great challenge to recreate in SFS. You have to manage the ascent, stage and timing, booster recovery, predict the ship's return trajectory, control re-entry, and finally the ship catch, all manually. And with quick save, you can keep experimenting until you get it right. So, thanks for watching. The name is Skyride Space. Peace out.